Art Deco jewelry, it is absolutely iconic. It's decadent, it's stylish, and it's been in demand and, let's be honest, reproduced for about a century now. And that's the key word, isn't it? Reproduced. So how can you be sure that what you're looking at is the real deal? Well, that's exactly what we're going to figure out. Maybe you even have a piece in your own collection, something passed down through your family. And you look at it and you can't help but wonder, is this really from the Roaring '20s? Or is it just a beautiful modern tribute? It's a fantastic question, and trust me, the answer is always in the details.
So let's go ahead and put on our detective hats. We're going to treat this like a real investigation. We'll examine the evidence, we'll follow the clues, and you're going to learn the key tells that separate a genuine treasure from a really clever copy.
Okay, first things first, a little bit of context. The Art Deco movement didn't just appear out of thin air. It started to bubble up in Paris around the 1910s, but it really exploded onto the world stage after World War I. It basically defined the look of the Jazz Age all the way up until the late 1930s.
All right, our very first and probably most important clue is all about shape. You have to understand that at its heart, Art Deco was basically a love letter to the clean, bold, powerful forms of the new machine age.
So when we say geometric, what do we actually mean? We're talking about a very distinct style that's all about precision. Think clean lines, perfect symmetry, and these incredibly streamlined designs that just feel so balanced and modern, even today.
So, what are you actually looking for? You want to keep your eyes peeled for these fundamental shapes: circles, triangles, squares, and rectangles. But here's the crucial part. It isn't just about the shapes themselves. It's about how they're all arranged. Does the design feel balanced? Is it symmetrical? If the answer is yes, then bingo, you've just found your first major piece of evidence.
Next up, let's talk about color. Because, wow, Art Deco designers were not shy. They used gemstones and materials to create these absolutely stunning, high-impact visuals. Honestly, this is one of the most exciting clues you can look for.
The real key here is one word: contrast. Designers would take these vibrant gemstones, like deep green emeralds or rich red rubies, and put them right up against something starkly different. Just imagine it. Brilliant white diamonds sitting right next to jet black onyx or vivid red coral. That dramatic pop of color? That is a total signature of the era.
Now, the materials themselves are a huge clue. The go-to metals were what we call white metals, things like platinum, white gold, and silver. And why is that? Well, because they created the perfect neutral canvas to make those colored gems truly pop. And for the gemstones themselves, you want to look for specific antique styles like the geometric Asher cut, the old European cut, or those smooth, polished cabochons. Okay, our third clue is going to take us on a little trip around the globe. See, the Art Deco period was this incredible age of discovery and travel, and jewelry design totally reflected that fascination with far-off lands and ancient cultures. Designers back then were just pulling inspiration from all over the map. Think about all the huge archaeological discoveries that were happening at the time. This wasn't just a European style, it was a global fusion that created something entirely new and exciting. So what does this actually look like in practice? Well, you might find the elegant lines of a lotus flower or a scarab beetle, which totally brings to mind the discovery of King Tut's tomb. Or you could see the architectural shape of a pagoda, or even the bold, abstract patterns inspired by Aztec art. Finding these motifs is a fantastic clue.
All right, we've covered the big picture stuff, the shapes, the colors, the influences. Now it's time to pull out our virtual jeweler's loupe and look at the teeny tiny details that can make or break a case. These are the tells that separate the enthusiasts from the real experts.
So what do you think? What's the one detail that reproductions almost always seem to mess up? Think about it. If you were making a copy, what's something you might overlook, or maybe even try to modernize? Well, the answer is often hidden in the finest details of the craftsmanship. Let's talk about filigree for a second. That super delicate, intricate metalwork. In authentic pieces, it was usually made from 10 or 18 karat white gold, which has this naturally grayer tone to it. A lot of modern reproductions, on the other hand, use 14 karat white gold, which can often have a subtle yellowish tint. It's a tiny difference, I know, but it is a huge clue.
But, there might be one piece of evidence that's even more definitive. The one detail that can solve the case in an instant. And it's something incredibly simple. It's the hardware. Yep, specifically, the clasp.
This right here is the detail you absolutely need to remember. That modern lobster clasp, the little pincer-style one you see on most necklaces today, it just didn't exist in the same way back then. If you see one on a piece that's supposedly from the 1920s, it is an almost certain sign that it's a reproduction or at the very least a later repair.
So, you've done it. You've gathered all the evidence. You've examined the shapes, the colors, the motifs, and those all-important tiny details. Now it's time to put it all together and reach your final verdict.
Think of this as your official 4-step investigation. Number 1. Analyze the shape for that key geometry and symmetry. 2. Examine the colors for those bold hues and sharp contrasts. 3. Identify any of those global motifs and influences. And finally, number 4. Inspect the fine details, especially that filigree and the all-important clasp.
And really, that's what it all comes down to. Identifying authentic Art Deco jewelry isn't about some secret hidden knowledge. It's just about training your eye to see the evidence that's right in front of you. The entire story of a piece is written right there on its surface, and now you know how to read it.